Good. Thanks so much for joining us. I've been looking forward to my audience hearing some of your story and really the understanding that you've come to learn about managing relationships with women and frame, because I can see that a lot of my audience, I think, is going to do extremely well in the upcoming crypto bull run. And if they change their money, that can introduce problems they're not yet aware of.
Yeah. So the main point that I was trying to make to you the other day when we were talking is, for some guys, what'll happen is your ability to understand intersexual dynamics, your ability to understand women will go up. Let's just say you were in college and you became a bartender, or you worked at a gentleman's club, or you worked at a nightclub, or just something where you're just around a lot of women all the time. Your ability to understand and communicate with women is going to increase, but you're a bartender and you might not make that much money. So your money's not going to go up. You don't have any investments. You don't understand real estate. You don't understand anything like either listed marketplace or decentralized finance. You don't understand either one of these concepts. So now your ability to talk to women is like, let's just say a 5 or a 7, but your understanding of money is like at a 0. This would be like the male stripper who sleeps on people's couches, or the bartender that that is always trying to get into one scam after another. One month he's trying to sell you a Forex, and the next month he's trying to do solar. So that's the guy whose his game is up to a 7, but his money's at a 0. Then there's the other type of guy, which is also very common, and this is the guy who goes off and gets a vocation, or he works on several master's degrees, or all he does is he's a serial entrepreneur and he learns from the feet of giants, of how great mentors on how to make money. And so like he's 18, 19, by the time he's 26, he's like a accomplished telephone salesperson, or he's a copywriter, or he builds funnels. And this guy's made millions before the age of 30, or around 35 years old. He's made some investments in real estate. He owns several doors, and he makes money off that. So this guy's got his money at like a 5 or a 6 or a 7, but he spent no time understanding the opposite sex, and actually in his mind believed from his church, from big tech, from the media, and from his mother, that if he just had more money and was a good guy, that women would find him attractive, then he would get more women. The problem with this guy is that he is subject to financial predators. He is a target because he has a lot of money. A great example would be PJ Washington played for the Charlotte Bobcats, or the Charlotte Hornets, and he got into a relationship with a woman named Brittany Renner. If you guys want to look it up, Brittany Renner actually wrote a book on how to trick athletes into getting you pregnant so that you can get money, like it almost treating like having a baby with them like an annuity. And she went on several different shows and she bragged about this. PJ Washington was 19 years old, I think, when he met Brittany Renner. And so she's a financial predator who had sex with him, has a baby with him now, and then uses that, and then goes on different shows. He was actually on Club Shay Shay the other day. It was incredible to me that like people even glorify this horrible thing that she's done. But it's one of these situations where when you make money, so it's like if you make money and you don't learn game, you're actually more of a target. And so a lot of people don't understand this concept. Now, furthermore, a lot of guys are like, well, Michael, I'm already happily married. But the issue is money is going to change your relationship if you become financially successful. The other thing is, like, you'll see this whenever you have two people and they get married and they're of a certain status when they get married. If the man all of a sudden becomes a multi-millionaire, or the girl becomes a published model, you start to see strain in the relationship when there's an inequity of status between the two. This happens because of social media followers. Maybe your wife all of a sudden gets published in Playboy and celebrities are reaching out to her. We see this kind of thing happen all the time. It's very common. And so you have to understand there needs to be a frame in the relationship. Just a couple of very simple things. If you are the breadwinner and you're a man in the relationship who makes money, one of the issues is, I believe personally, because most women, just let's say you have a man who's a 6 and a woman who's a 6. Her as a 6, when she gets out of the relationship, she has 2 orders of magnitude, like 100x more men that she can immediately go to very quickly from dating apps or from social media that will give her a ton of attention, offer her money, sex, resources, whatever. And you as a man, because you've been in a relationship, maybe you don't have the same level. And so like, even like if you took like the average girl who's like a cocktail server in Vegas, who's like very pretty, and then like an NFL player, the NFL player actually has fewer options than a woman. Like a mid-tier woman has more options than a high status man. And so because of that, one of the things I said is that in a relationship, a woman should be in general slightly more into her partner than the other way around. And because women are the gatekeepers to sex, men should be the gatekeepers to relationships. So as I say to guys before, I've seen guys do this. They'll go on their first date with a girl and they'll be like, I'm just really looking to get married. You've already given the game away. Don't do this. It should be a slow build up to where the frame is understood that, like, I am here to play the role of a man in this relationship. She's slightly more into you than you are into her. And that's because she has the leverage point of, like I said before, social media, of being able, like, getting a bunch of attention from a bunch of other people. And if you're able to maintain that frame, then what happens is you can maintain genuine desire, and genuine desire will trump money. This is hard for a lot of guys to understand. If you have a woman where you provided a lifestyle for her and not provided genuine desire for her, and then she ended up cheating on you, you know what I'm saying is true. Some guy who was the broke pool boy, who the woman ends up cheating on, she had genuine desire for him, but not for you, because all you did was provide money. So the issue, the first part of the frame that I wanted to express is men need to have masculine boundaries in the relationship to create genuine desire. And when they do so, then money doesn't become that big of an issue. Second thing I wanted to bring up is, guys, right now is a big, we talk about the Lambo index and the crypto bros when they were, how many Lambos do you own? That kind of like nonsense. One of the things that had happened is men did not understand this concept. If all of a sudden I make it big, okay? I bought Ripple a couple years ago. I bought Ripple at the bottom and sold it at the top. Made a fucking ton of money, all right? All of a sudden I got 8 figures in my bank account. Let's just say I was in that situation and I sold at the right time. What happens is, do I understand how to use money to attract the opposite sex properly? Using money to create a funnel that brings amazing women into your life is the correct way to do it. Using money to buy objects and material possessions in order to purchase her affection is the wrong way to do it. And this is the way most men do it, okay? If you are in a casual relationship with a woman, it is totally okay to buy her dinner. It is totally okay for you guys to go on vacation together and get a hotel room together. It is totally okay for maybe you to even fly her out. And it is totally okay for her to get tickets to a show or something like this. It is totally fine for you to use your money to buy a nice property near the cool part of town where she can come and have drinks. Do you have a beautiful view and a nice car that she can drive around in? Because what you're doing in those cases is you're not giving her material possessions and you're not giving her money directly. You're creating an experience. You're chiseling out a bubble to where she can come and experience life with you. You're creating an experience. Creating an experience or creating a funnel, that is the correct way to use money to attract women. When you start doing instead paying for jewelry, this is especially for a woman you haven't slept with, paying for jewelry, okay, paying for clothes, dresses, or shoes, paying for rent, and paying for a car for a woman that isn't your wife or girlfriend, that is the wrong way to use money. That now you are a sugar daddy. Okay. I just want to make sure when you're a sugar daddy, you are actually chipping away at genuine desire. And I've never seen before where a man starts off as a sugar daddy and then genuine desire is created. In fact, many men, because they're tricked by women, will start being a sugar daddy towards these women, and the women will feign genuine desire for these men, and the men actually think they have game, meaning they've like sort of they've solved women by using money. In reality, they're being tricked. I want to and there may be some of your audience who's been through this, been on this road before. Anytime you have paid a woman's rent, you have paid a woman's for a woman's car or her mortgage, or you've paid for a woman to have jewelry, or you paid for a woman's clothing specifically, and she is not your girlfriend who is having consistent monogamous sexual intercourse with you, anyone other than that, that woman is laughing at you behind your back 100% of the time. And number two, she's sleeping with another guy that she has genuine desire for, other than her sugar daddy. And I know because I live in Las Vegas where there's a ton of sugar babies here, and they tell me these stories, and without exception, there's another guy she's sleeping with. Okay.
Yeah, well, you get to see a lot of that firsthand. Now, a lot of the audience doesn't know your background. You hang out with some of the hottest girls in the world. You host the biggest bikini competitions in the world. You're dating a stunning 22-year-old model. Were you always this good with women?
No, definitely not. I will say before there were a couple of key in my life where I figured out what I was doing wrong. So I'll tell you, throughout junior high and high school, I was doing everything wrong. Everything was be nice to women and they'll be nice to me. That's what they teach you in the church, right? Do unto others as they would have. So you listen to that and you start thinking, so what I'm going to do is, if I am such a good guy and I'm so nice to women, they'll be nice to me. Because that's what makes sense to you. And in fact, if you go to those exact women and ask them, if I'm just nice to women, will they be nice to me back? They'll even tell you yes. They'll even say to you, I want a nice guy. And then what happens is, over time, and by the way, I'm not in any way saying that this is indicative of most women, because it's not. But I worked at a gentleman's club for 4 years after college because of the MCI WorldCom and Enron went out of business. And so all the IT jobs that I was trying to get when I got out of college, they dried up. And I was in Austin, Texas, by the way, right near where Enron was in Houston. And so I ended up working at a gentleman's club for 4 years. And I, again, not indicative of all women, but it was the first time for me to see very clearly a woman stating she was attracted to one thing and then witnessing her behavior and seeing that she was doing something else. Does that make sense? It was the first time where I saw what I considered to be some of the most beautiful women I'd ever seen in my life. This is 1999 to 2004, like sitting there and several of them competing over one man who like didn't give a fuck about any of them. Watching this with my own eyes, like seeing how status worked, how pre-selection worked. I didn't know the names for this. I didn't understand where this fit in psychology, but it was the first time I was disabused of this idea that I'm just nice to women and they're going to be nice to me back. So that was the first part of it. Then afterwards, when I was in the military, I was spent a significant amount of time with these promoters and club hosts that were in Atlanta, Georgia. And this was the first time where I also was exposed to pickup artists. And I saw that the pickup artists, they did have some good ideas, especially before social media came out. Pickup before social media was way more effective than it is now. After social media, it's way, way, way less effective. But I would watch these guys who worked at nightclubs, and they would show up, to the nightclubs with, 60, 70 girls, and they would have a beautiful girlfriend and like 3 other girls on the side. And I was like, okay, let me see what these guys are doing that's different what everyone else is teaching me. And so that was like a huge aha moment for me to kind of learn, okay, this is what's better, this is what doesn't work. The other thing was, you see this with a lot of red pill content creators and a lot of guys in the pickup community, is they believe that men and women can't be friends. But then I would watch guys who managed strip clubs, guys who were like club hosts, guys who were promoters, guys who were just like really, really good with women in general. And I noticed that they all had female friends because they were selective when it came to women. Physical attractiveness was not enough to get them to come off sides and to become like, and to start supplicating to a woman. And so because of that, they had a ton of female friends. They had females that introduced them to other females that got them into different venues, and females that calibrate them to be around other women. So after learning these kind of things, getting out of the military in 2011, moving to Vegas, that's the time. This is the point in my life where it was like, I would go to a venue, I would see the most beautiful woman at that venue, and I would leave with her. And I would do this consistently. And I did this using principles that I learned later on understanding through evolutionary psychology, a few small things that I did learn through pickup, but mostly from watching men who were just devastatingly good, like incredibly good with women, and just watching some of the things they did, understanding that men get their primary validation from compliance, which leads to sex, and women get their primary validation from attention, which leads to resources. And now understanding, how do you leverage that concept of attention in order to create a funnel to where there's a lot of, like we talked before about with the money situation, how do I create a funnel to where there's a lot of women in my life competing for me? I'm not the one who's chasing, they're the ones who's chasing. And that's when I truly was able to, turn the whole game on its head and have like, really incredible success.
Hey, so you stayed to the end. If you're still watching this, I have a gift for you. Click the link below and I will teach you how to position yourself as a high status man. And yes, it's absolutely free.